Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome uh, this virtuoso, Mr. Stuart Fuchs, whenever he comes on.
Hey, everybody. You're very kind. Thank you. Thanks so much, everybody. Larry, can you hear me? Is everybody, if I tap this mic, if I tap
Yes.
this mic,
Now
everything's
I
good to
just
say.
pinned you. I pinned you. Should I pin you for
Sure,
this
if you
or?
want to, yeah, make me the large
Okay.
image on the screen.
I've made you gain about 50 pounds, my
Oh,
friend.
oh, sweet, sweet. I need as much layers as I can get in the Vermont winter. How's everybody doing out there? I'm really excited to be part of your gathering. Thank you, Larry, for inviting me. And if I am a little bit frazzled, I'll do my best. Let me practice all my mindful breathing right now. I had a situation with a toddler and a snow shovel. So let's just all release, including myself, and come into this moment with an A major chord. Place your middle finger on the second fret of your fourth string, index finger on the first fret of your third string. Next two strings are open. Very nice. All right, and let's just listen to that. And what we're going to do to begin with is I wanted to first share my screen with you, make sure that everybody had this Johnny Cash workbook. This is just a quick something I whipped up for our time together here. You'll see that it has the song Get Rhythm in it, and all the words, chords, and then some sample licks that we're going to get into. Some things that, you can watch this video again and again and practice them and really add these into your playing. These are not too hard to play, and they will add a lot of country blues flavor to your music making. And then there's a little sample from one of my workshops. I'll tell you about that later. So why don't we get started with the essential rhythm, one of the essential rhythms of country blues, and that would be, it was taught to me as the quote trucker beat. Okay. And I think the idea is that it's just steady like a train, it's steady like a semi going down the highway. Just let me demonstrate it for you right here. I'll break down all the mechanics in a moment. Get rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get rhythm when you get the blues. Get a rockin' throw feeling in your bones. Put taps on your toes and get gone, get rhythm when you get the blues. So you can see that I'm keeping steady time. I'm accenting the backbeat of 2 and 4, and I'm also adding a little bit of some twang, a little bit of licks. These are not difficult to do. So let's start with the first essential rhythm. Would everybody please, just with your voice, say, in time with me, say with me, boom, chugga, 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 boom. And it's a good idea to either clap your hands or tap your feet. Make sure you're really in the beat, really in your body. And part of being in your body is saying it loud enough that it reaches your ears. So boom, chugga, 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 boom. 1, 2, a 3, and a 4, and a cool. I wish we were in the same room so I could high five everybody. But that is a huge step. It may not seem like a big deal just to scat, but it is a big deal. If you can say it, you can play it. Now, we're going to get to our ukulele in just one more exercise. You may like to repeat that first one again and again. Right now, let's refine it a little bit. The refinement comes in really paying attention to the teeth and the tongue and the lips and the breath. Try to accent chukka, okay? Because that's going to be the backbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Watch me for a sec. Boom, chukka, boom, chukka, boom, chukka, boom, chukka, boom, chukka, boom, chukka, boom. It seems simple, and at first, it's not so simple. Can we, for 30 seconds, just 30 seconds, consistently keep time and just say boom, chaka, with every single one in there? It's a meditation. You're being fully present. So come on, let's do this together with a steady beat. I'll slow down my metronome to 80 beats a minute. Here we go. Join in when you're ready. I'll get it going. Boom, chaka, 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 boom. Come on, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka. Halfway home, come on. Boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka. One more. Boom, chaka, 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 daka, daka, da. 2, 3, 4. And you see, you're right in time. My metronome is clapping at 80 beats a minute. Now, friends, our time together here is short, so let's get right into the ukulele. Step 3. If you can say it, you can play it. Let's change our strumming pattern just a little bit. I'd like to invite you to explore using your thumb and your index, or thumb and all the fingers. I like to use these 2 fingers. It's kind of like, almost like a rubber band is sticking my ring and my middle finger together. And again, just a quick demo of me on my instrument. My live streams and my webinars, I'm able to zoom in, no pun intended. I'm able to zoom in on my hands. So let me just come close to you so you can see. Boom. Thumb, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom. Let's do this for a few bars. And as we do this, feel free to explore changing your thumb from one string to the next. Sounds just as good on a high or a low G. So ready? Join in with me. Here we go. 1, 2, A major. Here we go. Excellent. So glad to see you here. Is that Ellen from Eugene, Oregon? Oh my goodness. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Stu.
Yay, Ellen. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I used to tour Oregon every fall for about 6 years, and I had the pleasure of staying with you. Thanks so much for being here. So what we're doing there is we spent the first part just practicing scatting the rhythm, being very clear, and then translating that into our playing. If you have one of these devices, chances are you do, or just a kitchen timer, put it on 2 minutes. See if you can lock in just for 2 minutes. During those 2 minutes, the most effective way of practicing I found is not necessarily to do it without stopping for 2 minutes. Short bursts of accuracy will really help you improve. So you could just challenge yourself to go like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. Just stacking a small success on top of one another is the way that we really build the castle of our playing. All right, so now we're just going to play the tune because, we don't have forever here, or unless I move in with you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put on the metronome. Actually, let's do this without the metronome. We'll just feel the tempo, but you can practice with the metronome on your own. And let's just play the Get Rhythm song. Hopefully you have this available.
Do you have your
I'm going to leave my screen share
turned on
so you can see
Stu,
the tune.
Stu.
And let's just try to lock in with that idea of thumb,
Hey, Stu.
Boom. We'll do a little slower than the original, just so we can lock in. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hey, get rhythm. When you get the blues, come on, get rhythm. When you get the blues, get a rock and roll feeling in your bones. Put taps on your toes and get going, get rhythm. When you get the blues. Let's move on, verse 1. A little shoeshine boy, he never gets low down. He's got the dirtiest job in town, bending low at the people's feet, windy corner of a dirty street. When I asked him while I shined my shoes, how do you keep from getting the blues? He grinned as he raised his little head, popped a shoe shine rag in. Then he said, get rhythm. When you get the blues, come on, get rhythm. When you get the blues, little jumping rhythm makes you feel so fine. It'll shake all the troubles off your worried mind. Get rhythm. When you get the blues. Now we come to the instrumental. Every one of those boxes is 4 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3. A, 2, 3, 4. A. Now we go to D, D. Second line coming up, A. D. 1 bar of E7. Now just hang it on that A chord. Third chorus. Get rhythm. When you get the blues, come on, get rhythm. When you get the blues, get a rock and roll feeling in your bones. Put taps on your toes and get gone, get rhythm. When you get the blues. Let's just pause right here. Give yourself a hand for joining in. I appreciate you jamming. My intention with that last jam is to not only run through the song, but to have us lock in with a slow tempo so we can focus on a relaxed technique. As you're more comfortable and your hand feels soft, going faster becomes a lot easier, right? So it's best, I have found over a lifetime of study, classical guitar and all kinds of things, to really cultivate that soft hand, even if you're going this slow. My hand feels like jello, but it's in control. Then when I go faster, I just bring that same feeling into the playing. This is easier said than done, of course, because sometimes when we pick up the speed or we're playing in front of others, there's a natural tendency to, tighten up, maybe hold our breath. There's all kinds of techniques that I could share about, how to loosen up, and big one is just to breathe and smile. That's why I've got it on my my strap here. Breathe and smile. It's really a good thing to keep in your consciousness. All right, friends, can I share with you a couple of licks, couple of tricks? These are really easy. As you play this rhythm, boom, chaka, boom, chaka, boom, chaka. Well, your thumb is moving to the 3rd string. So it's very easy to add a very countrified hammer onto your A7 chord. What you're doing is you are playing the open string and then hammering. So what is a hammer? It's plucking with the fretting hand. If you've never done a hammer on, the 1st fret is not the easiest place to do it because the strings are a little tighter. But what you're trying to do is to feel it settle, Feel the hand relax afterwards. And we could go down a deeper rabbit hole of technique, but I'm just going to share one thing to go deeper, okay? If you did just 4 or 5 of these like this, it's more beneficial than 1,000 tense repetitions, okay? So what you do is you hold down your A7 chord and just stop. And just ask yourself, how loose can my hand get? And then take your hand off and do it a second time. Is it settling? Relax the hand. Breaking the connection with the instrument means that you give a chance to relax, maybe take a sip of tea, and your body can integrate what it's doing. This is very different than the other way of practicing, which is like, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. There's a time for drilling things if they're well known, if your bodies are comfortable with a certain technical thing. But when we're first learning something, and this is just, my years of experience have shown me that I can learn something very quickly by going very slower, like a glacier. So feel it settle and smile at your hand. I know that might sound goofy, a little Mr. Rogers, maybe a little Bob Ross. I am the Bob Ross of ukulele, I've been told. But really smile at your hand, celebrate its effort, all right? So now we've just done this a couple of times. You feel soft in it, hopefully. You do this for a few days in a row, this is gonna be nothing, right? It's really not gonna be too hard. Next, you add it to the pattern. So you go thumb, chunka, hammer, chunka. Let's do this together, okay? Ready? 2, 3, 4. Thumb, chunka, hammer, chunka. Yeah, let's just do it again. 2, 3, 4. Thumb, chunka, hammer, chunka. I'm not trying to hold you back, I'm actually trying to push you forward by stopping often. One last time in this manner, and then we're going to loop it, okay? 2, 3, 4. Boom, chaka, boom, chaka. Nice. Now, see if you can keep that fluidity of motion as we keep the trucker beat going. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. So you can just brush those strums with the fingers down and the index finger up, or maybe index finger down, index finger up. However you want to do it, that's a good way to do it. Next, check it out. Inside the A7 chord, now that we're comfortable with this idea, we got all these great notes right here on the second string. Third fret is your G, that's the flat 7. You got this note, F sharp, which is the 6th of the chord, and then you got the open string. These notes, the hammer, and then there's a lot you can do with just a few combinations of those notes. Let me demonstrate. 2, 3, 4. So you can just start to mess around and find some patterns, some melodic patterns that you can start to insert on the chords. A nice easy one to start with is the first one we just did. Thumb, chaka, hammer, chaka, thumb, chaka, 3rd fret, chaka. Because that's going directly to the A7 chord, all right? I'm playing that with my pinky, just in case I want to use that ring finger for the 2nd fret. All right, here it is again. 2, 3, 4. Boom, chaka, hammer, chaka, thumb, chaka, 3rd fret. All right, we're doing it very slowly, of course. Once you pick it up, so essentially I'm just choosing different notes on that 2nd string. All right, these are some nice things to begin to add to the tune. How's everybody feeling so far? I'll check the chat to make sure that any And if somebody asks, is the book in the chat? Larry, maybe there's a link. I don't know if there's a link to download it that you could.
Yes,
could
I
check.
put
Oh,
it in
it
the
is in
chat.
there. There it is. 7:13 p.m. It's right there. Cool. I want to share. I want to share a few more things with you, and of course, if there's any questions, just let me know. Hey, if you do have a question for at the end, we'll do a little Q&A. It's helpful if you put a bunch of question marks before and after your question, so it pops out of the chat. All right. I hope you're digging this so far. I do want to teach something. We can, of course, jam the tune. I just wanted to give you something special that you could add to it. This one little trick can go a long way. In this packet, I shared a couple of other things. One is a sample solo you can see up here. Hopefully you can see my mouse on the screen outlining it. The sample solo for Get Rhythm. And this outlines the harmony in a nice way. And then, of course, there are a few other country licks right down here. Let's go through this right down here. Give me a thumbs up in your camera if you can see my mouse. You can. Awesome. So here we are. We're going to work on this first one. It goes like this. Very similar to what we just played. You hammer, second string, hammer, second string, hammer, fourth string, and then a good healthy, robust strum at the end. Okay, I'm picking with my thumb and plucking the second string with my index finger, and that's how I get that speed. All right, one more time, and then we'll drill it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cool. Let's try doing it 4 times in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you're comfortable with this, it becomes a great piece of vocabulary you can start to put into your music. Lick number 2, and this can all be combined with the open minor pentatonic scale form. I'll show you that in a moment. This is the same idea, but now we're hammering from the open string to the second fret of the second string. And this creates an A6 chord, very nice bluesy sound. Right down here, I ended on the 4th string, but you don't have to. You can end on any string of the chord. As long as you're holding down the A chord, any string will work. See, that time, that note is the 3rd fret, 3rd string, 1st fret. All right, so as you're, let's say you're at an open mic or you're just hanging with some friends around your house and, you can get really comfortable with this. And this can be stuff you can, kind of banter over. You can say, well, I appreciate you all being here. Thank you, Ellen, for bringing those delicious brownies. I'm starting to feel really happy now. So what we can do is start to explore the rest of the lick. Down here is a really wonderful, wonderful thing to add to any blues country playing. Check out this last line. It is a lot of ink on the page, but really all it is taking your E7 chord, using that same thumb chukka idea, and following it with a sliding 6th. And then you do the same thing on the A. I'm going to stop the screen share so you can see my hand really up close. Boom, chaka, boom. Let me do it on the E7. 2 notes. And you can, of course, follow it with that hammer idea. So you're on your E7 chord. If you lift up your index finger, these 2 fingers, they're already there. They're already ready to go. Just pick them. You can pinch them. Strings 3 and 1. Slide up, slide down. And then back to the A. And then the same 2 fingers. Just a short passage of 6s. Eventually 6s. You've heard 6s in so many styles of music, from Mozart to Hawaiian music to, of course, country and blues. This is a nice lick I wanted to share with you so you can add it to your A. A nice way to practice this is you have water boiling for your tea, or your coffee is brewing, and while your coffee is brewing, just take your ukulele, make sure that you feel like you're not in a hurry, and then just play this very slowly while your tea is brewing, while your coffee's brewing. And then your practice, and I see some folks in the room nodding their heads like you already do this. So this is a nice way to integrate just your daily life with your practice. So then your coffee's ready. Go do it once, take a sip. This forces you to take your hand off and have that break that we spoke about before. All right. Ba-da-da-da-da. Oh, do 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 da da. Oh, do 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 da da. And you can just, improvise a little bit. So, all right, how you feeling so far? Cool. Take this stuff, take this recording and this, PDF, and just run with it. I have a special offer for you at the very end. I'll tell you about. Let's go through the sample solo forget rhythm. Before we do that, though, one more way to play the trucker beat. If you happen to have a pick, I was given these by a really sweet guy in Calgary, treepicks.com. I have some of these at my website. If you listen to almost any country, I shouldn't say any, but most classic country, there is often the acoustic guitar player who is playing the boom chugga, boom chugga, boom chugga. And there's often a guitar player, usually an electric guitar player, who's playing something like this. All right, so if you have a pick, what you do is you lay the hand over the bridge to mute the strings. Just a little bit, little palm mute. I have a video on my YouTube channel, Ukulele Zen, about palm muting. It's also a lesson on that Proclaimer song, I would walk 500 miles, I would walk 500 more, that classic song from the 80s. So you can watch that at my channel, and I'll teach you about palm muting. And that's just where you take a little bit of flesh from the palm, the teeniest bit, and rest it over the strings, just to muffle the sound a little bit. And then you don't need a pick to do this. It is nice to do it with a pick. And then you just play that same boom chukka rhythm. So I'm going pick, down, up, pick, down, up, pick, down, up, pick, down, up. If you would like, you could eventually developed a technique to go back and forth from the full throated strum, you know, the full bodied strum, and kind of bring it down to this minimal texture. So here's a little example. Went uptown, looking around, but you could not be found. Crazy me, learning slow. Baby, you sure got your man feeling low. All right, that's a song called Feelin' Low by Deke Dickerson. If you know who Deke Dickerson is, awesome. If not, look him up. Deke Dickerson, great rockabilly and country guitarist. Very interesting guy, too. He records his albums with vintage equipment, like 1950s, 1960s recording consoles. Very, very classic guy. So, so I just wanted to share that with you, that's another nice texture, especially if you're playing in a group of people. And if the strummers can strum a little softer, you know, to let your dynamic come through, and you can. It's also one heck of an exercise for getting your pick together. All right. Now, last thing I'd like to share, and then we'll get into some questions. This is the sample solo for Get Rhythm. So what I have here is, you know, an outline. Please extemporize on it. This is fairly close to the guitar solo that Luther Perkins played on Johnny Cash's classic recording. Pretty close to it. So I didn't play everything exactly as written, but the idea is that you have here a skeleton, a solid, a bit of music vocabulary to build with. You can see that it's essentially picking around the chord. And then here we're adding some of those extra bluesy notes, the boogie woogie notes, as I like to call them. And same thing here, we're picking around the D major chord and we're going around it. Now, where you would go with this eventually is at a faster tempo, you know, a faster tempo. Chicka-boom, chicka-boom, chicka. Let me demo. You would go in. Have a solid bit of instrumental vocabulary to work with. Once you have this under your fingers, you can of course add other things to it. Let's go through this just so you have a video representation of me leading you through it nice and slow. Okay, I'll stop the share so I can just show you my hands up close. So nice and easy so we can learn it today. Hold down your A major chord. I'm going to pick this with my thumb because I'm holding my ukulele up to the camera, but you can use your individual fingers if you like. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. it's almost impossible for me not to ad lib a little bit. So I hope that you will do the same thing too. You can see that this is taking the chord and making a solid melodic structure for you to use. Especially when you're playing the song fast, you don't want to be playing a lot of notes. We want to have the solo be something that the ear can latch onto. All right. Last thing for today is this is a little sample from a workshop. It's an online workshop that's available at my website, and it's called Pentatonic Blues Riffs. I have a couple of different courses, and I have a special discount code for you that's good through the end of the day tomorrow if you're interested. And you can see that we have those same notes outlined. Okay, so everything we played in that solo, boo doo 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 doo. All right, these are the intervals. This note is the root. This is the third. This is the fifth. This is the sixth. This is the flat seven. Here we are moving up the neck to this position. We have the D7 chord. And this course teaches you how to use pentatonic and other solo ideas through the vehicles of different tunes. So this is the Beatles' Birthday. So you can take this shape and play. All right, and then when you get to the D chord, you'd move it up here. See, up to those black notes. Down here at the bottom is the 12-bar blues structure of it. When it comes time to the E7 chord, you just move this shape 1 fret higher. This is a cool example of it. Other examples in the course include Eric Clapton's Sunshine of Your Love, Moby Dick by Led Zeppelin. These are classic pentatonic riffs that are great to play as songs on their own, but they also offer you some tools, some springboards for your own improv. So you can take these notes So really all I'm doing there is I'm just taking the material here and I'm reordering it, making melodic passages. Now you'd play these as individual notes. So you'd play 1, 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 6, 5, 1. All of this is explained very clearly in the course. 1, 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 6, 5, 1. This also has a wonderful effect of training your ear training as you jam. So as long as we're jamming and making things up, we train our ear. Okay, the same way this whole session together began. If you can say it, you can play it. It's the same thing here. You could know that as the notes: A, C sharp, E, G, F sharp, E, A. But most cats play knowing the numbers: 1, 1, 3, 5, flat 7, or you just say 7, 6, 5, 1. All right. Is this making sense? I wanted to give you something a little extra to work with, just to play with. You can, take this one page and use it in an entirely different concept. Yeah. And you got a great, solid piece of blues vocabulary there. And you can make up your own song with it too. I'd love to take some questions in the chat. I just wanted to let you know, first of all, I'm so glad to be part of your group. Thank you for inviting me, Larry. I'm so glad to be here. I have a YouTube channel called Ukulele Zen. I also offer a yearly retreat program called Ukulele Zen, You can see that up there. If you visit my website, stewfuchs.com, there's a store there, and there's a 40% discount just for you, but for until the end of the day tomorrow, so midnight Eastern time tomorrow. If you want to check out some of the things that are there, the discount is good for anything, CDs, digital download CDs, any courses, ebooks, tabs, and the code is easy. It's UKE, UKE, and then the number 40. So just one word, UKE 40. I'll put it in the chat. There you go, UKE 40. It might be all caps, UKE 40, and it's at it. Larry, if you wouldn't mind putting in stewfuchs.com. That's my website. So anyway, just wanted to offer that to you if you feel like hanging with me a little more. And there's plenty of tons of free stuff at my website store as well. Just click where it says free tabs and goodies, and you'll be taken to a list of all kinds of stuff for you to enjoy. There's also lots of content at my YouTube channel, Ukulele Zen. And if you wanted to join as a member of the Patreon community for as little as $2 a month, you get all kinds of goodies. Members at higher tiers get all kinds of other exclusive things like, special live stream lessons, extra, there's a whole chord solo and jazz course that I'm offering this year. So you can check that out at my Patreon page. And if you just go to any of my YouTube videos, you'll find the link there, patreon.com/ukulelezen. So just wanted to get that out of the way so we can end cleanly. Just wanted to, let you know about that if you wanted to check out any of my other stuff. And let's go to the chat, and maybe we could even open up, I don't know if we can open up microphones, but we could just say PayPal Venmo handle. Oh, I do have one, but I'd have to find it and put it in the chat. Was wondering if there's any questions about what we were doing, anything about technique, ukulele music. Very happy to answer any questions right now while we're here, while my toddler is still asleep.
Stu, you have dazzled us tonight. I'm telling you, this is just grand. So rich.
I'm just putting my PayPal and Venmo. That's very kind. I'll be right with you. All right, cool. All right, I'm not sure if we can unmute and say hi, or maybe we'll just do this with chat. Let's see.
Sure.
Chat.
Hey, Stu,
Review birthday, please. Sure, we can do
Yes.
a review, Mary. Oh, thank you, Sue. Thank you very much for putting the link to my Patreon in the chat. I offer a ton of stuff there for you. And if you want to check it out, oh, thank you, Sue. You also put a link to my YouTube channel. Brownies make me happy. Brownies make me happy too. Yeah. I recently had a birthday, so I ate a lot of sweets. I'm so glad that you're all having a good time. Thumb and then the pointer finger will work. Yes, Carla. Boom, chukka, or boom, shaka, boom, shaka. If you can say it, you can play it. And often when we're relaxed, our bodies will respond with the most natural technique. 2 messages. Can I still hear us? I can't. Oh, wait a minute. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us, Stu?
Now I hear you.
Okay, yeah.
You trying to get my attention?
Yeah. You've just dazzled us. Such a great, grand presentation. Man, it's just more than I dreamed would have happened.
Thanks very much. I appreciate that. Hey, if anybody wants to spend 5 days with me at the Omega Institute, it's a renowned yoga and holistic center north of New York City. I'll be announcing it soon at my website and my YouTube channel. It's 5 days of ukulele, very accessible mindfulness practices. It's a really, really good time at a retreat center. There's daily movement classes, great food. There's a concert. It's all part of Omega's Arts Week. I've been doing it for 6 years. Omega it's an honor to be a teacher there. So it's a really, really amazing center. Doesn't seem there's any questions other than the request to go over birthday, Mary Heaton. interested. So why don't I do that real fast? I'm not sure if I'm still the large view, but
Yes, you are.
I'll do it right here. Cool. And this is all contained in the course that's at my website that's called Blues Rock Riffs and Improvisation. There's also a whole course about rockabilly. There's, all kinds of goodies there for you. So check it out. That's the skeleton of it. If you're doing this on a high G ukulele, it's going to sound a little different, but just play anyway. All right. I like to slide into this note. And then when you get to the D, same thing. And in your packet is that fretboard road map. Every lick in that course has fretboard road maps that go with it. When you get to E, you move it up 1, 2 frets.
Now that's the pentatonics.
Well, they are not pentatonics. They're outlining. It's an arpeggio of an A7 chord.
No, I meant.
But you mean the extra stuff I was putting in?
The material is in which course?
Oh, it's called Blues Rock Riffs. If you go to stewfuchs.com and click on the store, you'll see a list of courses and it'll be right in there, along with a whole bunch of other courses. So if you want to check them out, they're there for you. 40% off through the end of the day tomorrow.
Wow, this is just great. So rich.
What brand of uke am I playing? A couple of them. I have a few back there, but this is one of my favorites made by Brian Griffin. Brian is 90 years old this year. He is a luthier in Bellingham, Washington. He's sharp as a tack. I hope I have half of his brain power if I'm lucky enough to make it to 90. He builds ukuleles with a kasha bracing system. It's why the sound hole is here. Kasha was a scientist in the 1960s. He took his son's acoustic guitar and noticed that the transfer of kinetic energy to the soundboard was not very efficient. So he was a physicist. So he figured out an entirely different way of bracing the ukulele of the guitar. And it is very rarely used on ukuleles, but it's a very loud, full sound. So that's the Kasha bracing system made by Brian Griffin. There are links to Brian's website, Griffin Ukuleles, in just about all my YouTube videos. Brian's a good buddy. And if you get one of his ukuleles, tell him that Stu sent you. They're all handmade. And he has some very interesting woods. If you don't mind me telling you a little more about this uke, it's interesting. And there's a whole interview with him on my YouTube channel. This is a piece of redwood that was harvested about 300 years ago, probably sprouted at the time of Christ, according to the rings in the wood. And these redwood trees were felled and they were brought to New York City to create water towers. Excuse me, it wasn't felled 300 years ago. It was about the Civil War era. And so this piece of wood was part of a redwood water tower that was on the top of almost all the apartment buildings and the office buildings in New York City. So this wood they decommissioned them, and then all this redwood was it was going to get destroyed, or some of it was bought by furniture makers and instrument builders. So this wood is it's very interesting because it returned back to the West Coast where there's lots of redwood. Because it was filled with water, the grains have really opened up. It's a beautiful, rich tone. He makes ukuleles with all different kinds of tone woods, but I really like the redwood. It's very, very rich. And Yeah. He doesn't do a lot of bling on his ukuleles, but he does do, as he calls it, bling, but he likes to put these little rosettes. Anyway, don't get me started about Brian, because I'll be talking for a while. He's a really, really interesting guy. He's written entire books about keeping bees. He's a historian and he builds instruments. He's a really, really cool guy. GriffinUkuleles.com. Any more music questions before I leave you to your jam?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if you can just give us perhaps a few simple yoga exercises that'll keep like reminding us to relax our hands. I find when I'm practicing bar chords, I have to stop a lot because I tend to be aware that, oh, I'm tensing my thumb, my wrist is hurting. I need to try to relax. So maybe some type of exercises that will help us before and after practicing, besides being mindful and taking breaks.
Yeah. Well, sounds like, well, thanks for the question. Who is this, by the way?
Vivian Patel.
Oh, Vivian. Hi.
Hi.
Well, the first step is you're already there. You're aware of it. You know, so you're aware of it and you're starting to take some action on it. You're stopping often and you're bringing a lot of awareness to your body. So that's really key. I have a couple of videos at my YouTube channel that outline some bar chord principles. And so you can check those out. If you can come to Omega, you could have 5 days of retreat, where you put your work on hold for 5 days and just go deep into yoga, meditation, and ukulele and arts week. But if you can't come, here's a little something you can do. I wish I could zoom in on my hand. I can't do it with this
She
program.
can't see you, Stu.
I'm legally blind, so if you can verbally explain what you're doing,
yes.
that's best for me.
Totally. My apologies. I didn't realize that. So try this out. If you're holding down a bar chord or a multi-fingered chord, or even just a single note, try this 3-step process. Rest your finger on the strings. Let's say we're going to bar the B minor 7 chord. Actually, pause. Let me take that back. Let's put our fingers in a familiar place. The C major chord. All right. But what we're going to do is we're just going to take the ring finger and let it sit on top of the string. You see, it's just making a, quote, incorrect sound. All right. While you're doing this, keep the thumb really soft and check in that your wrist is straight. You can reach out and feel it. So it's not, there's no bend in the wrist, nice and soft. This is pretty easy, right? You can just feel that it's all this, it's just about the same amount of effort as if you were like rubbing, something off your face. Just that. In fact, you may like to contrast that feeling. Just gently caress your face with your ring finger and then touch the instrument. Cool. Now we're going there's a little bit to push down, but not enough to make a clean note yet, to make a buzz. Can you hear how my sounds like sloppy? It's on purpose, sloppy. And while I'm doing this, I'm starting to notice, hey, this part of my hand is being engaged. My fingertip likes to do that. Oh, my thumb feels like that. And then just take the hand off and do it again. You can back up to the first step of just thud and then buzz. And now push just a little bit more, only enough to get the clean note. And that's all you need to do. I know your question was about bar chords, Vivian, but what we're doing here is a process that really eventually can become instantaneous. At first, you may like to spend 2 or 3 minutes hanging out with this idea of thud, buzz, and then the clean note. And see if you can make that clean note with as little effort as possible. Take your hand off and then do it again. Find another note, any note. And then find another note. Okay, so you're just cultivating a very, very light touch. You may like to do this for a week, for a month, or for years, you know. I was introduced to this in the 90s by my classical guitar teacher, who changed my life for the better. She was an amazing teacher. Now, you can apply the same principle to chords, but please don't misinterpret me. I'm not suggesting that we always need to, you know, walk on eggshells or, you know, be too careful. But spending a little bit of time like this will make it a habit to always touch the instrument in a light manner. So if you take, say, a G chord, a chord like G major that's using 3 fingers, plop it on the instrument and begin with a thud. And really pay attention to that thumb and that wrist. Take a deep breath. Celebrate the fact that you showed up, you know, for your music. That's a big deal. There's all the things you could be doing. You've decided to sit and refine your instrument, your connection. That's just something to celebrate. And now squeeze just a little bit to get a buzz. This is a cool thing, like how you actually try to get a sloppy sound by loosening up. And then a clean sound. And eventually it's just going to become a habit where, like, oh, I just have to push a little more than the buzz. Take the hand off. And then when you find it again, you could see if you can go directly to the clean chord, keeping that same sense of touch there. I imagine your sense of touch, Vivian, is much greater than mine. You can really feel deeply into that. This can become a really joyful process, you know, just taking 1 chord at a time. What is healing about music? Is it the vibrational tones? Is it the words, the lyrics that draw forth emotions from us, help us move through things and process things? Yes, all that's true. And there's also another element of just the act that we stopped. You know, we just decided to stop for a moment. Like when an animal's injured, they just stop. They don't eat, they don't drink. Injured deer will sit in the woods, find a safe place and just be still for a while. And this is kind of, it's really healing for us as well, just to be still with these kind of exercises. And then, of course, you get that in and then go forth and jam and try to carry that into your play. You know, I know these things at first can seem maybe serious because we're stopping, you know, we're taking it slow, but they're really lighthearted. They're meant to be lighthearted. So I hope you find that helpful.
Oh, Steve, that was so great. Man, you are the educator extraordinaire.
Yes, thank you so much. I never thought to find like the sloppy way. It's always either muted or and then try to get it to sound well. It's never been to try to find that middle ground, and I think that's going to help a lot because there's a subtle difference between the sloppy and the note. It's so subtle, and there's a big jump between the muted and the note sounding the way you'd want it to sound. So I like that middle ground a lot. I think it's going to help a lot.
Awesome. That's great. I'm glad that you found it helpful. I had teachers who were a bit like Mr. Miyagi in the what's that movie? The Karate Kid. Yeah. I mean, my teacher just had me play slow scales for 2 weeks. Every time I'd show up to her studio, I'd be like, I practiced my Bach, I practiced my Villa-Lobos. Do you want to see? She's like, no, I want to see you play that slow scale. And we would spend a half an hour playing a slow scale. And one time after doing just that for many weeks, she told me, don't practice your stuff. just practice this one exercise. I thought she was crazy. But then one day, before the 2 weeks were up, I was at a party and I was invited to jam on an electric guitar. And because I had been cultivating this stuff, I said to them, I'm really out of practice. I haven't played anything in a while. They said, let's just jam. So they started to play So What, which is a Miles Davis song. And my hands just felt like butter. It was really shocking how easily my hands worked after just doing things like this for 2 weeks. I was looking at my hands and the music was playing itself. So yeah, these kind of things can be very, very, very beneficial. So thank you
Hey,
all for
Stu,
watching.
look and see if you have your original sound on.
I
for
just
music.
changed that. I hope that this whole workshop hasn't had my sound squashed this entire time, but if so, I apologize. You know what you can do is you can show up for one of my free live streams the first Sunday of every month at my YouTube channel, and I promise my sound will not be squashed, and I'll have all kinds of ability to zoom in. So
It was good, except at the very end when you were demonstrating on just the one string.
okay.
That was the only part where I couldn't hear it.
Okay, good. So the other things were not so squashed. Excellent. All right. Well, it's been a lot of fun to be part of your group. I appreciate you having me, and yeah, I think this is not just the Memphis area. I see some folks from Oregon, and there's a massive ukulele. Huss, look out behind you. There's a huge ukulele behind you. Careful.
And Huss is in. So where are you, Huss? England, London, Sussex?
I'm in Surrey, which is
Surrey.
south of London. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. My live streams are at my YouTube channel, Ukulele Zen, the first Sunday of the month. I offer one that's just public for everybody, and then for patrons, for members of the community, there are special lessons throughout the month. So you can subscribe to that YouTube channel, and you'll be notified of when I go live.
Yes, I've been a patron of Stu before, and it just so much information there. He's an excellent teacher, as y'all can see tonight. And Stu, man, you've given us so much more than I thought we would get even. So generous. Thank you.
My pleasure. I'm so glad to be here with y'all.
That was gorgeous.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And
Thank
Stu,
you.
come back with us anytime that you would like to. We meet every Thursday evening at the same time.
Okay.
We would love to see you check in on us every once in a while. Who knows? Maybe we can get another one of these sessions one of these days.
That would be sweet. Thank you.